Welcome to the Elderhood channel. My name is Stephanie. I'm the marketing director for Horizon Elderlawn Estate Planning, as well as the host for Contra Planning Elderhood channel. Today I'm here with Herb Thomas, who's the owner of Herb Thomas and Associates. Herb Thomas and Associates is a private fiduciary service firm specializing in a broad range of financial and care management services for seniors and people with disabilities. Herb has extensive experience in care management as well as financial background. Prior to starting Herb Thomas and Associates, he worked for Kaiser Permanente and the Internal Revenue Service. Herb, can you share a little about your background and how you got into being a professional fiduciary?
I can, Stephanie, and thank you for welcoming me today, and I look forward to speaking with you.
Sure.
I started as a private fiduciary after working first as a tax examiner with the Internal Revenue Service, and then later transitioning into social work at Kaiser Permanente, where I ran a team of what we call public benefits advocates. And in my work as a public benefits advocate, I looked at issues of medical health, social security, disability. And I learned a lot about trust during that time. That is the trust document. I had never had any exposure to it prior to that. And I kept running into roadblocks while dealing with public benefits and trust documents, and I had to figure out how do I need to maneuver this, and how do we get benefits for folks who have trust. And so then I segued into being a private professional. And I gave my old employer a few months notice, and then I went on my shingle, and I haven't looked back since 2005. And so that's kind of how I got started.
Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing. So can you tell us, Herb, what a professional fiduciary does for a client?
Absolutely. And so just the word itself, fiduciary, means position of trust. And that trust is primarily with finances, but in some instances, it's also trust in the person, that is the well-being of the person, where the person lives, the person's medical situation as well. And so as a private professional fiduciary, in some instances, we're appointed as conservators, that's conservator of the estate, which is the finances, as well as conservator of the person, which of course explains the well-being of an individual physically, as well as where they live. And then more often than that, or more common than that, as a trustee, and or sometimes even as an executive. So those are some of the instances when a private professional is appointed and a private professional fiduciary is used.
Okay. Well, that's great. So who would be the one to hire you? Is that an individual, or does it go through the court?
Well, once again, it depends on the type of need that professionals request to fulfill. In some instances, particularly with conservatorships, that's always through a court appointment, and the court maintains oversight over those appointments. And sometimes in trust matters, it's through a court appointment as well. But for the majority of cases, a trust appointment is a private agreement between individuals. Sometimes that happens during the grantor, that is the person who creates the trust for his or her lifetime, and sometimes it's in a decedent position. So the grantors have passed, but a private professional fiduciary is asked to succeed.
Okay, well that's great. My other question is, what kind of accountability do you have being a professional fiduciary?
Well, it's a good point, and it's, because as I said, it's a position of trust. However, there does need to be oversight, and so for us, private professional fiduciaries, is quite a bit of oversight. And once again, it depends on our appointment where that oversight comes from. Going back to conservatorships, that oversight is always by the court system in the state of California. So the court maintains its jurisdiction, demands accountings for the first year, might have to be the first year is finished, and then every 2 years thereafter. But and even in those positions, the fiduciary, even though he or she reports to the court, is still accountable to the person whom they're serving. Because really, a fiduciary is really a safety net, a person to have this position of. And while a person may be somewhat incapacitated, that is still a person and still need to show respect, show people are counting, and try to explain to them as best as possible. In other appointments, such as a trustee appointment, sometimes if the court has oversight, the accountability is directly to the court. And without court appointments, like this private agreement, that appointment could be to the grantors of the trust. And if the grantors of the trust aren't available, it is to the beneficiary. It's always to the beneficiary of the trust to be accountable. In some instances, there will be a trust protector or a trust advisory committee who has oversight and provides a place for the fiduciary to account. In all of the instances, whether it's a conservatorship, whether it's a trust that's court supervised, or a trust that is not, that's a private agreement, the state of California has set up a bureau called the Professional Fiduciary Bureau, and it has complete oversight over private professional fiduciaries. And anytime a complaint is lodged with them, they have the duty to investigate that complaint, and they do a very good job of following up and working with the fiduciary and the family to make the complaint to see where the resolution will take place.
Well, that's great because that is quite a role. You have so much authority and power, and it can be scary to think that you don't know what is out there.
Well, I want to say this, Stephanie. Yes, there's a lot of authority, but most fiduciaries look at it as responsibility. And being responsible means
That's great. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Can you tell us something that you do differently than other professional fiduciaries?
well, certainly. I think one of the things that makes Thomas and Associates stand out from other fiduciary services is that I have a staff. Going from one person working in the back room of my home when I first started off in 2005 to hiring a staff of 11 full-time people, I've grown quite a bit. And along the way, I've brought on experts to help me. I've brought on social workers and gerontologists, as well as legal agents, certified financial planners, and property managers. All of the roles that myself as a fiduciary have to fill, but it would take me a lifetime to get certifications and licenses and all those different areas. And so what I've done is I've hired these professionals to advise me and this goes on staff to help me serve my clients.
Oh, that's great. You have a wealth of resources right there in your office.
I do. I have a wealth of resources right there in my office. And the best thing for the client is that my services don't cost any more than any other fiduciary. Our hourly rate is the same as other fiduciaries. And in most instances with my staff, even though they're professionals who may have more expertise in their subject area than I do, their fees are sometimes lower than mine.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, having a staff full of people, you're able to really maximize everything right there for each client that you have, and you really have a great service. That's amazing. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks so much for taking the time today to sit here and talk with us. And if you or a loved one are in need of help managing finances or care management, you can reach her or one of his associates by calling 510-749-4669